Hey guys, welcome to the Off Duty podcast, the one-stop shop where we talk love, work, pleasure, and how we are going to create the lives that we desire.
So, grab a beverage, get cozy, and let's get ready for today's conversation.
Good morning.
Good mornings. How are we?
Jinx. I'm good. I'm really good, thank you. Hay fever is just here like...
Dragging you like a rag doll.
Somebody said to me that it's been in the gym and it's got its summer body.
Screaming.
And the summer body is here with a violence.
That is literally hilarious.
So hay fever is actually dragging me, but I am enjoying the sun. Like what's it called? A heliophile. A heliophile, somebody who enjoys the sun, oh my gosh, literally sun, all day, every day. However, the hay fever, it's not a cute look.
Not cute.
So I'm calling my GP tomorrow.
As you should.
Because...
Period.
I'm trying to enjoy my summer.
Nah, you've been struggling with it, can't lie. You have been struggling.
It makes no sense. I'm a baby girl.
It's a lot.
Anyway, how's your week going?
My work week has been difficult, but like I've had a decent week.
Oh, good.
My week has been balanced. There's been a sufficient amount of both things.
Range.
Exactly. But yeah, my week has been fine. Yeah.
Did you get through the week without a mentee bee?
Yes. Yes, I did. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank my mom and God, first and foremost. Anyway, what is your fun fact for this lovely week? Lovely and sunny week.
Lovely and sunny week. So my fun fact is, do you know how we talk about like embarrassing moments and stuff? Mm-hmm. So I know like we shouldn't deep, like it's not like life, it's just not that deep. Yeah. However, my intrusive thoughts, do you know when you just get a flashback?
I do.
My face it does a lot. I like screenshot in real life, and when I'm out in public I will see myself screenshot as well. I'm like, why are you doing that? Just keep it in your head. So my fun fact is like, when I cringe internally, I can't. My whole body, I feel it in my whole body, and I tremble.
Tremble.
Literally, I'm like, ugh. Jesus, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Nah, I feel like embarrassment is one of like the most difficult things to sit with. Cringe is...
Honestly, I'd be working out.
It's a full body experience.
Honestly. I'd be working out, and then out of nowhere... No warning, nothing. Jesus. Anyway, what's your fun fact?
My fun fact is, okay, so there's a story here.
Okay.
I know you remember because we've talked about this, but dear listeners, do you remember it was a few years ago, it was a video of this couple, it was a proposal video, and the guy did like a whole Disney style cartoon for his fiance, well, now probably wife, hopefully. And it was just like a proposal video. She was into Disney. He did like a Disney style cartoon that was like interactive. It was like he got like all of her friends and family in the movie theater. She didn't even know that they were there. She just thought they were coming to watch a movie, and it was like that was like the proposal. It was like anyway, I loved it. It was literally it sticks in my head because it's one of the few proposals that have been like that sweet, and also I think I'd really love that. I say all of this to say I'm a bit of a Disney girly.
She's a Disney girl.
I'm a bit of a Disney girl.
Who's your favourite Disney princess?
No, my favourite, I have to say Mulan. I really enjoy Mulan.
I feel like I've not watched the cartoon, but I've watched the live action.
I didn't really enjoy the live action. I really enjoyed the movie though.
Damn girl.
Yeah. It's a shame. Love you, Tiana. I just feel like they didn't do, like, I feel like Tiana's story was half-assed, and that's why it's not really that rememberable, and it's not really that I love the music in Princess Tiana. Yeah, I feel like they did Princess Tiana dirty, and she didn't get
We're
story.
gonna get into this though. We are getting into this today because anyway, no spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. Anyway.
So anyway, recently I've decided I want to go to Disneyland.
Did you? Paris or World?
I feel like I want to go to Disney World. So I want to go
in Florida.
Yeah.
You're not scared of America.
I know. And Florida's doing a lot these days. People be leaving and stuff.
Is there even houses in Florida after all?
I don't know.
Let me stop right there.
But did you say it's their houses?
Yeah.
I'm screaming.
Let me even just stop.
Screaming. But that's my fun fact. I've decided recently I'm going to go to Disney World and I'm going to live my best life. Full stop.
Period.
Periana. But yeah. My love note for the algorithm this week as well, since we're on me, is I watched this. Actually, you Penny sent this video recently of this man. He was talking about like healing. It was on an the handle is.
Do you know what's so funny? That was sent to me by somebody, and then I also sent it to you guys.
That's how it works, though, isn't it? That's literally
love notes from the algorithm.
It was from an account called Tonight's Conversation, and this man.
They're a podcast, aren't they? I think.
Is it?
I think it looks like a podcast.
That would make sense. They were having a discussion, and one of the men on this podcast, surprisingly, was like
flapping his gums,
making a lot of sense. Like
he was not.
He was saying some things, and one of the things that he said that really stuck with me was this idea that, in the growth journey, the difference is that when you're triggered, you respond differently, and that's the change in like the growth journey, as opposed to not being triggered at all. It's that when you are triggered, the response is different, and I just feel like that was quite reassuring. I also saw this like little like cute cartoon. Let me find it.
And you know what's interesting with what you're saying? It's because again we're going to talk about it. You know, people choose not to heal. And, like, the thing is, healing is a choice. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's as black and white as that. However, when you know that this is the kind of reaction that your body gets from a certain thing, and you still don't seek ways in which you can figure out why it is you're behaving in such a way, it's just wild to me. And you just continue this crazy life.
Yeah. It's quite sad. I don't know. People live in different lives, innit?
Who was it that I was talking to? Was it you? One was saying, like, everybody's living a different reality.
It was when we were walking from the lift.
A different reality.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
I was just going to say there's another We The Urban, which is the account on Instagram. They posted this, like, cute little picture. It was like a thread. But one of them was, it's okay to cry about something you thought you healed from. And altogether, I was also talking to my friend about this same idea, but it's just like a nice reminder that, like, first of all, like, that growth isn't a linear thing, but then also it's like the goal isn't perfection.
Exactly.
It's just, I don't know what the goal is, but it's not perfection, and I think that's just like really reassuring. Things will continue to trigger us. We're humans. The difference is we just learn to try and cope differently, basically.
There's a girl that I used to work with, and I can't remember, it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were like, we need to just choose to stop doing self-sabotaging behaviors. And that goes on to, like, you know, when you're healing and on these triggers come back, it's choosing not what you used to, and it's difficult as hell.
Changing behavior is like literally I feel like one of the most difficult things as humans, because there's so many, all of us, we want to have nice lives. We want to do the things that are good for us. We want to behave in the way that is good for the people that we love. Yeah. But it's just, it can be really, really difficult. 100%. So it's a journey. That's why it's a journey, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your love note?
My love note is from, I feel like all my love notes have literally been love all this point. But the thing is, I've only recorded 6 episodes anyway. So On the theme of like you were saying proposals,
Oh yeah.
so this was from a proposal from the Ultimatum. Me and Danny watched the Ultimatum together, and
The queer love one.
the queer love one. We're gonna get into it. Spoiler. But anyway, my love note is: love is a very short word. It is easy to spell and more difficult to define, but it's impossible not to live a life without craving to breathe its air. And this is from Tiff from the Ultimatum. She was proposing to
Mildred.
And I was just like, this is so true. Like, even if it's just not even in the romantic sense, in the platonic sense, you can't not want to breathe love's air. How can you, like, how? I just, do you know what it brings in my head? It's like, I get a picture of like black and white, and there's no colour, nothing, and then anywho, should we tell the listeners what we're talking about today, Danny? Should we take them out of their misery?
I know. I'm sure they've been at the edge of their seat.
Like, I know. We're going to take you out. Because we're nice. We're nice girlies.
We're kind.
I know.
So this episode, we're going to be talking about some shows, movies, and little bits and bobs that we've seen. Yes.
Girl.
Penny with a hand up.
Miss Daniela.
Yes.
Can we?
It's actually Miss Nalukwago.
Okay, Miss Nalukwago Santongo.
Thank you. Not my full name. Damn.
I ain't doing it half-heartedly. First of her name. Can we talk about the violence that Netflix is inflicting on people right now? Because all the shows we're talking about are on Netflix, BT dubs. But Netflix is actually moving like a man.
Netflix is doing a lot these days.
Why?
Did you see that thing that they did yesterday?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Why are you charging people all the in a cost of living crisis? In a cost of living crisis, you want people to be paying?
Unforgivable.
Unforgivable. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is.
I just think like Netflix it keeps cancelling things that are good. Like it's just like it's strike after strike after strike. Like at what point are we gonna just say no to Netflix?
I'm scared.
We should rise up and say no.
Put our foot down.
Put our foot down and say no. We will not take this anymore.
Yeah, we'll have to just all symbol. I'm screaming. How am I saying all of us like I pay for it?
Neither of us do.
No, I was about to say we all need to cancel our subscription at the same time. But everybody that's paying for a subscription, you need to cancel that subscription. You all need to band together.
Make a union and then
cancel.
Strike.
It's so rude. Honestly, I hate how businesses, this whole idea of individualism and like, we get it. But as a company that's a public owned company and you're making so much profit, what more do you need? Just make your services better so you can pull more people in. Renew the shows. Stop bringing out more seasons of the Winx Club.
Also, while we're at it, can they just get new writers? Because at this point, I don't know if that they need to get new writers, or they just need to like stop putting the restrictions on the writers that they have right now. Because we are so tired of the same template of shows, of characters. Like there is so many stories from so many Black and brown people that I knew that are interesting, that have not been done over and over and over and over again. Like imagine how much lore and richness in culture and fantasy and just like stories that there is to tell. Even like our old, what is it, like folklore, like our own tales that already exist from our tradition. Yeah. Why don't explore that? Like, because they already exist, and then go into the imagination. Yeah. But like, what I think that they're doing is they will hire these people, but they will restrict their creativity. I think so too.
And they literally just stifle their bloom.
And then they keep getting stuff like Winx Club, and we keep getting stuff like Riverdale. I know we talk about those shows a lot, but it's because they're actually just stupid. I'm so dead. Like, they're so basic, and it's like the characters are so annoying. And also another thing that I really, really frustrates me about like stories and like shows and stuff like that is that I've just literally lost my train. Oh yeah, no, I've got it back. It's back. I plucked it back.
Thank you.
That's mine.
Don't you go anywhere. You sit down.
I feel like
by the end of this laughter interlude, you're gonna have forgotten what your train of thought was.
listen, don't even speak on it. Anyway, let me remember it. Right. I really don't like how I feel like a lot of shows these days are very like story driven, as in like plot driven, in the sense that it's like the writer, and this, it's not to say that this is a bad thing, but it just feels like it just feels like sometimes it's like the writer, whoever the people who create the plots or whatever, they say we want this to happen, and then we want this to happen, and then we want this to happen, and in their like fixation of that, I feel like the characters end up acting out of character, for lack of a better like way to say that. It just feels like the characters are then just doing things for the plot as opposed to for who they are. So it's not making any sense when they're doing certain things, and it's making them annoying.
What's the last good thing we watched?
Unrealistic. We just watched The Ultimatum.
No, what's the last good thing we watched?
Oh, good thing.
Silence.
Crickets. We watched that Leo Grande one, but we've watched something after that.
What, we're talking about Netflix.
Oh yeah, on Netflix.
Yeah.
Damn. Together? We watched together?
Yeah, because... Anyway, that just goes to show. It's just, honestly, like, they're all such ridiculous shows. Why am I getting the same shows about friendships, growing apart? Why am I getting more shows about lawyers? Why am I getting the same, like, this has been done since the start of time. Anyway, anywho, what do you want to talk about first?
I think we should talk about... Since we've mentioned The Ultimatum, should we talk about that first?
Yeah, let's go with The Ultimatum first.
Okay. What were your thoughts on The Ultimatum? One name.
One name.
Mal.
Honestly, that's
Mal and Mal alone.
Do you know? Did I tell you about that TikTok that I saw about how one of the characters?
I mean, at this point, reality shows are shows like that. Not our shows. Our fiction is what I meant.
One of the
Lexi.
That one. No, the other one, Ray.
Okay, yeah.
She was like, instead of going to couples therapy, we went on a TV show.
Girl.
Their show was so chaotic. What? Oh no, I can't even make the analogy that I made yesterday on the table.
What analogy?
About how the ending was. It was so anticlimactic.
Yeah. Do you know what? What is it? Spoiler warning. Spoiler alert, that one. We're going to talk about The Ultimatum in detail. We're going to talk about all these shows in detail. So, like, I guess maybe we'll do some time markers or something, but...
We will.
There's going to be spoilers in this episode of every single thing we're talking about, so be cautious.
If you've not watched it sucks to be you.
But yeah, Mal was...
First of all, she's such a beautiful woman. Her dimples.
Do you know what I really, 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 really loved about Mal was just how she was with Yoli. How she was with herself and how she was with Yoli. Like,
that was
the type of the way that she communicated was genuinely, like, astounding to me.
Do you know the love that she was given, that woman, is the kind of love that I would want from my husband. Do you know the actual person, like the manifestation of like love is patient?
Yeah.
She created so much room for this woman.
So
Understanding.
much
So much
room.
understanding. And this woman, at the time, I was like, "Ooh, yeah." But do you know? I said to Danny, like, I could never go on a reality TV show because let me tell you, it's not that I have self-respect, obviously. I have self-respect.
Disclaimer. Before we continue.
Spoiler alert. But I feel like, because I'm such a simp, I feel like, and also these reality TV shows, they're such, they're a honeymoon phase and they're so intense that within 3 weeks, of course, you're going to develop these
really intense emotions.
Actually, we've not even said what the ultimatum is. Look at us. So the ultimatum, basically, it was like a spin-off from Love is Blind. Okay. And initially, it was heterosexual couples in the first season. That was a mess.
Screaming.
And then so there's couples that come into the show, and then one person is like, I'm ready for marriage, I'm ready to settle down. The other person's just on the fence, and they're like, I don't know. And so they go on the show. I don't even know why you would do that, because
seems like the death of a relationship to me.
But to be fair, there's some in the heterosexual one, quite a few of the couples stay together. But that was this come up anyway. So the queer love one is about women, and yeah. So Mal is our favorite character. I also really like Sam.
Which one was Sam again?
Sam was the one. Who
was
just
with Ozzy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
So how many couples were there? There was
5.
Ozzy and Sam, Lexi and Ray, Mal and Yoli,
Xander and
Vanessa. Mildred and Tiff.
Oh yeah.
Right, should we talk about each couple?
Okay, go on.
One by one.
Should we start with
Ozzy and Sam?
Ozzy and Sam. Okay. Ozzy, I felt bad watching Ozzy. Genuinely, I just felt really sad for them, because I was just like, it must be really difficult to exist within yourself when you don't have, when your tolerance for the stress is that low.
Yeah.
And to have experienced the conditions that you did to end up in the way that you have is peak.
But also unfair.
And so peak for Sam. Girl. Sam was so patient. She was to a fault, unfortunately. She needs to rate herself. The fact that they end up together, in my opinion,
as the only couple that stayed together,
that's a shame. Because like, obviously we don't see everything on the television and all. We don't see all of the stuff that the actual like depth of their relationship, but we see enough of it. And enough for us to make judgments. I mean, that's the point when you go on a reality show, right? You're gonna get judged. Like, it's about people's opinions. That's the whole thing, right? And I just feel like although Sam and Tiff ended up being their like the trial married couple.
I didn't even finish what the whole explanation. Chaotic, right? You go on.
Okay, so the couples come onto the show, the experience or whatever. One of them wants to be married. The other one is on the fence, like you said. And the whole point of the show is at the end, they all decide: do I want to go home with my original partner, go with a new partner, or go alone? Right. So in this experience, they have 4 weeks with. So they date each other. Like, we go on some dates. They get to know each other, and then they decide, who do I want to do a trial marriage with, which is 4 weeks. Right. They decide someone, they pick each other, and then they do 4 weeks of trial marriage. They live together. It's a marriage, right? And then after those 4 weeks, they then move in. They go back and move in with their original partner, who they come with for, I think it's about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. And then at the end of that experience, they decide: do I want to go home with my original partner, my trial partner, or do I want to go alone?
Yeah, so Ozzy and Sam. That whole relationship is wild. Like, I sympathize with I sympathize with her and like her trauma and like everything she's experienced. But I feel like it's so unfair how she treats that woman. So, so unfair. And also she said that they're getting married, but she's not actually come out to her parents. And Sam has. And you know what? Maybe it works for her because what do we know? We only see such a small amount, but the way in which Ozzy was treating Sam, and then it's not to say that like when she, you know, at the reunion when she was like, "Oh, this is how mine and Mildred's relationship felt." I don't want to like kind of not acknowledge that, but at the same time, she never takes accountability for her own self at all.
No, she doesn't take accountability at all.
She has there's not a single bone in her body of accountability.
She is the victim at all times.
At all times. At all times.
And to be fair, I'm not actually even sure what Ozzy's pronouns are, but I feel like part of that was that I feel like it might be better to just say they them because like, or just refer to them as Ozzy, just like.
Yeah. So they were. That was just. It
was a lot.
It was a lot, and it's just so unfair. But
also, Sam needs to rate herself.
And that's the thing that we're talking about. You know, the idea of healing. Yeah. So many people, we do end up in these kind of relationships. Like for example, like I often make bad choices within like my dating life, and that's, oh my gosh, my last therapy session, my therapist dragged me about my choices in men. And I was like, sis, I don't pay you for this. But also, wow.
I do kind of. I doubt.
But you know, I'm so glad. The kind of love that I want.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a tweet that I made about love. I need to read this. The kind of love that I want is grounded in so much like health. All of those couples in their own unique ways was just so triggering. Yeah. So triggering. And it's like, I don't want to be at the age of these people and also not knowing how to communicate first and foremost and not knowing how to regulate my own emotions and show up for my partner and ultimately just cause them so much hurt and trauma. So there's a book by Brianna Wiest. She wrote a book called 100 Essays That Have Changed My Life or something. And so one of the quotes from her book says, "The fact that the kind of love worth choosing and keeping is the kind that ever so slightly tilts the axis on which the world spins, leaving nothing to ever be the same again." And I feel like I can't experience that kind of love with the same mannerisms Absolutely. That I go about dating and meeting people and interacting with people. I can't.
Yeah. I hear that heavy. I hear that loudly.
And so seeing grown-ups, the thing is, and when we talk about like say our culture as well, we see these. Okay, we see it on reality TV shows, but even within our culture, we see this all the time. Yeah. We see these dynamics in, oh my gosh, and it's just like, why do people just all heal, please? Not all heal, but just at least embark on this journey. Just try, because the world will literally just be such a nicer place.
It would be. It really would be. I feel like with the cast of, I feel like they, not I feel.
And you said, no, I think, you know, after yesterday's thing.
The cast of like this ultimatum was a really interesting, to use your word, screenshot of like what I feel society is right now. I think there's a lot of us who are trying to do the work that stumble, get back up, etc. There's some of us that just use this therapy language to appear that we are working on things or appear that we know what's happening and we are making a difference about it. and there's some of us that just were on vibes in it. And I feel like the cast was a really good like sample of all of that, which I thought was quite interesting, because I also felt like with the reunion was really kind of trash, but like very flat. It was very much like everyone was like, what's happening with this? What's happening with that? What's happening with this person? What's happening with that person? And I expected so much drama. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, maybe there wasn't that much drama because this is real. They were real. They're like real people. I feel like with normal, I don't watch a lot of reality shows because it's not really my bag. But a lot of the reality shows that I do watch with like Real Housewives and all of this jazz, there's always just so much wahala. And if we're being honest, in day-to-day life, like most of the time, people would walk away. You would just walk away. Or you'd cry, or you wouldn't say anything, or
that's true.
Most people would break up.
But do you think, so I found out that the host was actually straight.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that created a new dynamic as well, because in the way in which she would have navigated, the reunion.
Yeah. Maybe. I wonder why they did choose her. I wonder. Also, she's familiar, but I can't think of why.
I cannot.
I could just Google it, but I don't want to.
That part.
I don't care enough.
But that was honestly Mal. She just showed up. She was like, "I'm here for the experience," and immersed herself in the experience. And she wasn't even. Somebody who was not shouting or doing anything.
And the gag, what killed me about Mal was that she came onto the show and she was like, I don't know if Yoli wants to marry me specifically because, and I think she used this term, she's like, Yoli falls in love where she waters. And that's exactly what Yoli did.
Screaming.
That's exactly what Yoli did. It was, anyway.
It was
Yoli
chaotic.
was funny. Yoli was
chaotic.
I really feel like Yoli should have just picked Xander.
They tried out though. They tried to date, but they didn't work out.
But I feel like in that ultimatum experience, I feel like she should have just picked Yoli, as opposed to picking Mal, because I feel like
I guess that's what would happen in an ideal world, though. But yeah, what other couple do you want to talk about? I feel like we've covered like
the main
points.
We could talk about Mildred and Tiff. Mildred and Tiff they were a lot. The reunion, their presentation. Is that
Not
how you
presentation.
say? Like, how they were on the reunion was really quite jarring.
That was so interesting.
It was really quite
jarring. How is Homegirl gonna say I was arrested?
She said, I threw something at you. I was like, huh? And the way that she just kind of I feel like she bulldozed Tiff. And that's not to say that Tiff had nothing to, because obviously Tiff was not saying everything either. But Mildred was absolutely also not saying everything either. I just felt like this is probably why they didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because of how they were acting in that reunion.
Yeah. And also it was as though Mildred came she came with a narrative that she wanted to portray of the whole situation. Yeah. And it failed on her because she ended up just outing herself. Again, going back to the whole when you're not healed, you're literally you're literally a victim in your own, and you're unable to see past yourself.
It's so peak.
Because the thing
is, right, like we've said, healing is literally not. It's actually really interesting how the love note perfectly aligns with all of this stuff. But it's not that we have to be perfect people. I think there just needs to be I don't know what it is. Obviously, I don't know what it is. But there just needs to be I guess a level of introspection that you just have to have in a relationship. You have to have a level of just they say I'm doing this wrong, even when I feel like I'm not doing. Even if I can't see what they're saying, there needs to be a level of okay, I love this person. This person loves me. They're saying this is a pattern in my behavior. Even if I can't see it right now, let me. I don't know, take it. Let me consider it. Yes, Penny.
I'm screaming. Every time she says yes, Penny, it's because I put my hand up. By the way. Do you know with what you're saying? It reminds me a lot of, first of all, everything you're saying. I was dating this guy back a few years ago. And I said to them, like, I want my partner, they have got to be my friend. And this is because my friendships are so solid, and the way in which the relationships with my interactions with my friends are, that I need the same framework and model to literally mirror my romantic relationships. And it goes to show that people don't have healthy friendships, so they have no basis of what an actual relationship is, and then we go and put romantic relationships on such a huge pedestal when we don't even know how to be friends, we don't even know how to be sisters. Do you know what I mean? Just
I do.
Basic. We don't even have the basic skills to maintain basic relationships. Then we think we're gonna get into this business. It's not even, it's a business, really. Like, it's an agreement where you're going to bring people into the world, you're going to have to manage all these different aspects, and it's like, how do you expect to go into this kind of relationship or interaction when you don't even have the foundations? Because some of the things that you're doing, you're shouting at your partner. You would never shout like that at your friend. You would never, ever, ever dream of screaming like that. You would never throw something at somebody who you love and respect. And people just, honestly, when the guy was like, what do you mean that you have to be friends with them? What, can you help me explain that? I was like, this is clearly not going anywhere, because I don't know why I'm having to explain this. One of my best relationships, I was speaking to my therapist about this as well. One of my best relationships, it felt like I was friends with this person, and then I had all these additional things that came with it, and it was genuinely crazy.
Because at the end of the day, guys, like, marriage, the rest of life is long. Like, life in itself is fleeting. However, like, the day to day, like, every day, every year, every month, every whatever the hell, it is long. And if you're not friends with that person,
and
how?
And sorry.
No, it's fine. I personally really agree with the fact that I think you have to be friends with your partner, because you have to like them. You have to like them, and then you have to be in love with them, and then you have to live with them forever. Maybe not live, but be with them.
I was when I went out for drinks on Friday, and we were sat opposite a married couple, and we were just like, so the husband had got away, so we asked the woman, like, so what, tell us, like, what your secret is. And she was like, he's my best friend, and we literally just have fun all the time. And literally that is what I want. That is what I want. And reality TV perpetuates this constant, there's no healthy examples of friendships within reality TV. Like, again, we're gonna come back, we're gonna go to Young, Famous and African, because friendship is literally the glue that holds society. It's people's therapy, it's people's family, it's all these things. Yet, instead of promoting the joy and all the richness of it, people will put money and invest in continuously in promoting women fighting against each other, all of it, and it's just like, this is so baseless, and it's just so boring. It's so boring. It's not helping out. Like, how is this helping anybody? How is this helping anybody?
Literally.
Because you're gonna go create another season of The Ultimatum, but for what? Like, let's actually be intentional about the stories that we're telling, because our kids and our kids' kids and the generations to come, this is how they're gonna remember. This is our history. Do you know when we read? Do you know what I mean? When we read about the past, this is what we've got to show for it. Do you know what I mean? You fighting and screaming and walking away. There's no examples of health.
Do you know what? I think this is a really good segue into the next show that I want to talk about, which is Young, Famous and African. There's a few. I've not watched the first season. Did we watch the second season?
Yeah, the second one.
I feel like that thing that you're saying was what Fantana, Zari, and Diamond's whole thing was.
Do you want to talk about do you want me to explain what it is? What Young Famous in Africa is?
Go ahead.
So Young Famous in Africa is about rich young people in Africa, yet they film the show in South Africa. They've got South African, Nigerian. They've got South African, Nigerian, Ugandan, basically loads of different African people. Yet, again, the show is just based in South Africa, which is wild to me because Uganda is such a beautiful country. Nigeria, gorgeous country. Ghana, incredible. Like, so why are you not...
Houseway!
Somebody make it make sense.
I mean, Young Famous in Africa has some doing to do.
So, I don't know how many characters there are, but... So, we have Fantana, who came in season 2, who was there to promote her music, but sis came and started just doing a lot on public TV. Let me tell you, do you know what I say about the whole me not going on public on reality TV? It's not even because I do anything embarrassing again, but I just feel like we all have... Because we have so many dimensions to ourselves, reality TV takes advantage of the fact that this one aspect of you, they've seen it and they will monetize it and then they will just run with it.
And manipulate it.
Because you're not necessarily that kind of person. However, such and such an interaction has taken you out of your character or something. And then that's the character that you've ascribed to and now you've got to stick with it.
Yeah. That's something really interesting, actually, and I hope I remember to say this point. But
should I write it down? Are you talking about Fantana?
I am talking about Fantana, but also in terms of the reality show thing, being taken out of character, and then focusing on one aspect of yourself. It's like, in addition to all of that, in addition to the manipulation, well, I guess this is part of the manipulation. They intentionally put drama, so it's like you're then again to that point forced to double down on this quote unquote idea of the person that you are, and then you're just this random, you're like this caricature of yourself. And it's like, and that, I think that's also just something generally, I think we have these ideas of who we are and what we want to be, and sometimes we can get so stuck on that that any difference causes just so much like, what's going on? I can't do that. I'm this type of person. Therefore, I must be doing this type of thing. And it's like, we could just release ourselves of labels. We could release ourselves of boxes. And it's not that easy. First of all, it's not like as easy as I'm like, you know, kind of saying it to be. But like, imagine the freedom of just literally existing as this fluid person. Yeah. Like, you can change. Yeah. Today you can like this, tomorrow you won't like it. Tomorrow you can be more confident, and then maybe you'll become a little bit shy, you become a little bit more introverted, or the opposite thing. And that's even growth, right? Before I was a really angry person and I was maybe lashing out to this, and then a few years from then I've gone through some things, I've done some work, and now I'm a lot gentler and I'm a lot more, I don't know, patient, kind, etc. Maybe before I was a lot more isolated and I was more disconnected from everyone and everything, and now I'm making the effort to be more connected to my friends and to be more present in the moments that I'm in, and that's fine.
Yep. And it's just such a shame that people don't create room for themselves to be fluid. I think we just don't give ourselves enough grace. That's what, we don't give ourselves enough grace. And I'm guilty of sometimes internalizing some of the things that I do. Yeah. And it's like, if I do something bad, I'm not a horrible person. Yeah. I'm not a bad person. I need to work through it, apologize, and also move on. Yeah. Because if somebody decides if somebody decides that they're going to hold on to that persona or that experience of me, that's fine as well. They're well within their rights. However, I don't ascribe to what that thing is. Like, I don't ascribe to that anymore. Yeah. So I can't help you. Yeah.
You remember that, I don't know if you were watching at this point, but Ray and Lexi were having a conversation. So Ray, this is ultimatum stuff. But Ray and Lexi were in like their original couples. Ray told Lexi, I'm not going to sleep with anyone. She ended up sleeping with her trial partner. Lexi was really mad about it. She was like really hurt by it. She felt really betrayed. And there was this conversation after it all had happened where Ray was crying and she was like, I've apologized as much as I can for this situation.
Yeah.
I can't constantly beat on myself. Like I can't feel like poo.
Yeah.
I can't feel like poo every time I look at myself because I did this thing. Like, I can't live like that. And that is so true.
You can't.
It's like, we are humans, we do bad things, and like, we have this bad behavior, and bad behavior does not mean you're a bad person.
At all.
You know? And it's like what you said, it's like, all you can do is like, just try to atone for that. You apologize as much as you can, as much as is appropriate, maybe is the better word.
But don't die on the hill that's apologizing. Move on.
Yeah. And just like, it's again creating that inner space, creating that space for yourself to just like be a human person.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It's so difficult, and that's something I really, really struggle with. Like,
Yeah.
I can like seek forgiveness from others, and they can say like, okay, yeah, I've forgiven you, and like you would think that's it, but then it's like that I need to forgive myself. I need to also just like let it go, because it's literally done.
Speaking of letting go, let's speak about Annie. Annie. So we're reeling it back to Young, Famous and African. 2 issues with Young, Famous and African. First of all,
joking.
The 2 issues that are on my mind right now. I hate the producers for bringing on these powerful women onto this show and bringing them on and just perpetuating again that whole women are not nice, they're female dogs, they're just always against each other, they don't get along. And then you also bring them on as baby moms. This one's
wife,
this one's ex,
chick.
this one like
Long, boring.
so disrespectful. They in the first season they brought Zari on as Diamond's ex, baby mama. And then in the first season the storyline again was some other character fighting with Zari again because she's a baby mom. Second season, another character's come in, she's also fighting again with Zari as a baby mom. Did you not watch the first season? Did you? We had this storyline, we saw it, we explored it, and we came again to the same conclusion. So why are we doing it again in the second season? Again with the producers, you're filming these things. It's making no sense. How is someone at a spa wearing leather, full on makeup leather?
The beach wearing plastic.
Full on leather. You go into a basketball match. There's Hennessy at the basketball match. Please.
Like, we get you have to do the product placement, but like actually try a little bit. Like,
a
little bit.
You're hosting parties in Africa. Go get some extras. Go. There's so many people. First,
it's just a lot. I feel like the producers just need to do they need some work. They did some really cool shots. Those shots of everybody walking in. The fashion in Young, Famous and African is giving. They all look fabulous. The wigs, the makeup, it's impeccable. It's literally impeccable. And the producers do and the camera people, they do a beautiful job of like showing
honestly.
that. But it's like the story and everything else just falls flat. They have things they're good at and they have things they really need to work on, basically.
Yeah, I hated like the constant themes of like gaslighting, the constant themes of bullying. Again, going back to that whole thing, what are we leaving behind for the next generation? What is it? We've got Andile here speaking with a deep voice. Yeah, like, I definitely don't think like you should get involved.
He's got an American accent, yeah.
Oh. I definitely don't think you should be getting involved in other people's marital problems. What do you mean I should? Okay, so
they are so... This is how men just like, you know that whole thing of like, they don't talk to each other. They don't speak about... They don't counsel each other.
They go to the gym. They come in their little batty riders. And instead of talking about things, they've got Hennessy in their hand. They won't even lift up a weight. And they're all just looking at each other.
What's that dude called? What's his name?
Naked.
Is it called Naked?
Naked.
Naked upset me. Why was he hosting? He was like, I invited this, we've not been to the gym in a while. He never picks up he picks it up and does nothing with it. Eventually you'll see him just putting it down, and then he literally doesn't even he doesn't write. Anyway, he was a funny character. Anyway,
honestly, shout out to Lewis, my babes.
Lewis is so beautiful.
Such a beautiful, dark skin, gorgeous chocolate man. Oh,
he was something.
So beautiful, and also his teeth. Chef's kiss. But Annie. So the story with Annie is she basically is married to this really famous Nigerian artist. He's called Tubaba, innocent.
You are my let me know.
And he sings,
You are my African queen.
Not us out of tune. Jesus.
1, 2, 3. You are my African queen.
The girl of my dreams.
You take me where I've never known. Let's stop because we don't know about copyright and all that, man.
He takes her on laps. That's why
Long story short. Let's get to the point.
He takes her for laps. So they were high school sweethearts. God, may I never hold on to a man who is disrespecting me. May I have sense to leave anyone that is disrespecting me on public television. So, Annie and Tubaba, innocent. I want to hone in on the whole innocent part. Let's focus on the innocent. They married when they were 15.
15?
No, they've been together since they were 15. They're high school sweethearts.
I was going to say.
High school sweethearts. I think in the first season, I can't remember correctly, I can't remember whether she had fertility issues or something. But this man kept stepping out of his marriage. Left, right, and centre, doing the absolute most. And they had their first child together. Yes. But their first child together was Innocent's 5th child. Screaming. And so one of the storylines on this season 2 is her saying, we've just got I don't know why people spread all these rumors. It's so malicious. It's so this, but like, it's so important to realize that like Annie is a victim. As much as I'm like, she's very interesting, and I hope I would not make the same decisions as her, but she's a victim. And there's, again, with the whole, like, from where we come from, there's so many women going through the same things. Experiencing the same thing. Men just constantly stepping out and just not respecting them. Why are you not respecting your marriage vows, but you go to church every Sunday? Why?
And you hold yourself as if you're in this position of power, of moral. Do you remember that conversation they had when they were having that dinner? And he was talking about how men, it's natural for them, like they can go and like just have sex, and it's like, dude, it's actually boring. Like we're past this bit. We're actually past this.
And Annie was sat next to her while he was saying that.
And he brought it, like, it wasn't, because everybody knows who Tubaba is. They know how he acts. No one brought up the conversation. And this whole second season, at least the very first half, was them trying to, like, do this whole, Annie's in, like, Annie and Tubaba are, like, good. Like, she knows what's going on. Like, she's in control of everything. And they are good. And that was literally what I felt that whole first bit was. Yeah. And so they had this, everyone was like, oh, let's go have dinner with Annie or whatever they did. And he comes and is like, I have this on my chest, I'm going to put it out. And again, it's just, and it's, this disrespecting thing, it's not even about like ego, it's about respecting other human people. It's about respecting someone else's feelings, someone else's emotions. Like, we have said that this is how we're going to do this. Like, if they have some sort of, I guess, personal agreement of like, I don't know, open marriage or some sort of whatever that, it doesn't have to have a label, whatever understanding they have. If they have that understanding for themselves, I feel like, okay, fine, fair, good. But it just doesn't, the way that Annie acts and the things that she says, For me, it doesn't sound like that's what's happening.
No, to me as well. And it's just so sad, like,
because you see that template of relationship and of marriage so often. The women do so much. They're like literally they just do so much. They hold so much, and all the man is there for is like what to give to provide money.
And even sometimes they don't do that. So they just bring in that.
And yet they just hold on to these ideas of, oh, I'm a man and therefore I can do ABC. And it's like, bro, like, gender roles aren't even bloody real. Like, that's my personal opinion.
And you know, and the thing...
That's not my personal opinion. That's the truth.
Period. And then going back to the conversation of, like, healing... It's hard to heal because we don't exist in a society where it can allow you to just heal in peace.
No. Because the people that you hold dear are the people who oftentimes are causing the most harm.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, it's to do with these labels and these like rules, these restrictions that we put on ourselves. It's like they hurt every single person. We could just exist. Because at the same time that we're like, men are providers, men are like breadwinners, they should be protecting this, they should be protecting that. It's like when that isn't the case, the sort of damage that does for them as well, it's like...
Yep. And then they step out of the marriage so that they can feel manly.
Wild. It's like we could just have all these deep, meaningful connections, guys. Like we could just strive. And I hope we are striving. I feel that's all that human experience is about. It's about our connections with others and to the world. Yep. And so why have these like why commit to having just really tumultuous relationships?
And that's how I felt, you know, with how they were treating Louis.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Oh my God.
They were just so like... They were so hung up on just misunderstanding him.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time. And it's like, it's really just not this deep. He's told you he was young. He's apologized. So what more should we do? What you want me to break my back and give you one of my my little...
And the good thing about what I really enjoyed about Louis was that he was consistent. Yeah. Everything he said it from the beginning and he said it at the end. His story didn't change. He came on, and with that story with, what was her name? Bonang. He came and was like, listen, this is what happened what you just said. This is what happened. I didn't prepare correctly. I should have made sure that she had accommodation because I flew her out. That was my bad, and I'm going to apologize properly in person. And instead...
And you know what's so sad? Like, these were grown people just shouting at each other, doing all these... It's so scary. It's so scary just seeing people's trauma. Oh my gosh. People's trauma just on blast.
Yeah.
Blast.
And I think if we can take anything away from reality shows and how they choose to express human emotion, it's as a word of warning.
Yeah.
It's like as a fable. It's like, guys, let's try and be better than this.
Yeah.
Like it's a production anyway because they do a lot of they put in a lot of like fictitious stories and they're like, this person is this one's cousin, that's how she's here. This one is this one's brother-in-law's bestie, that's how he's here. It's like, it's all fictitious anyway. Let's just pick out what we can. What can we learn from this? And then just run with it, because otherwise...
I could have given so many storylines. I could have been like, listen, the thing is, there's so much opportunity to take these things, and you just choose this one-dimensional way, and that's what you go with.
And it's like, also Netflix, you know you can do better than this because you know you can. So like, why is this the portrayal of Africa that we're choosing to have?
Like, first of all...
Come on now, like...
For real.
And all of these people are they're so successful.
Right.
And they have like so much like so many like qualities to actually show and give like all
To enrich people.
They have all of these in these businesses. They have all of these like brands, and all of it is really cool and it's like really like inspirational. And yet, all they choose to show is how they're screaming and shouting at each other because this one doesn't like how this one spoke to her, and this one swore at the other one, and like that's the whole story. That's the whole thing. Like, she swore at me at this one party, and therefore like she's horrible. She's lost. And I'm just like, actually chill, it's not serious.
Not them literally going with the whole trying to portray black people as savages. Just going with it.
Andile just from the very first like scene I saw of Andile in season 2, he rubbed me the wrong way.
Screaming.
He rubbed me the wrong way, and then as we watched the show, he continued to show himself.
Men like him are scary. Men like
so
Andile,
scary.
So scary because they will come to you as the nice guys. I'm a nice guy. No, actually, you're here to traumatize me and actually just ruin my life. That him, oh yeah, I don't know what to do about Zari. Zari already checked you. You know full well, like, what your intentions are. You're here wanting to marry somebody. That whole storyline made no sense.
He was like, I'm ready to marry, but I don't know if I'm going. I don't know if I'm deciding to choose her or if this is the person I want to be with. If that's your question, that's not the person that you're trying to be with. Why are you bringing her into your BS? And how Andile is such red flags, guys. Like, Andile is all of them. He was so scary.
No, he is.
He's so scary.
Very much so.
Because he acts like he portrays himself as if he's a sensible person. But when you actually listen to what he's saying, he's gaslighting you. He's bigging up his man who are doing the exact same things that he's doing. He's just covering it. Yep.
How is he going to say? He was like, yeah, so I'm bringing my ex on the show. So the introduction of one of his baby moms. He brought not one, but 2 of his baby moms onto the show. They were beautiful, guys. Beautiful. It could never be me. Why are you bringing me onto your show as in this portrayal? To rub more salt into the wound, he brought one of his baby moms onto the show and brought them. He was like, yeah, I'm here to have a meeting with Annie because we kind of have the same family dynamic. What? Are we seeing the same family dynamic because
anywho but actually watch Love Famous Africa.
Love Famous and African, she said.
Young Famous African.
Young Famous. It's a good show. It's a nice thing to put on while you're doing like stuff. Like a background. That's what I was thinking. It's a background watch.
Yeah. And also, these are our opinions. You might have different opinions, so.
Oh yeah, send in your opinions. Actually.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think of all these shows.
Yeah. Have you watched them, and what did you think?
Honestly, I think Netflix should sponsor us since they've got all this money.
I feel like they literally should.
Because if we can just sit on the TV and just rate the shows for them, we could do that.
I could definitely do that. I could talk my.
We could free up some time.
Check my diary, no that. Fit you within my schedule. Yes. The last show we're going to talk about is Bridgerton.
Queen Charlotte.
Yes, specifically the Queen Charlotte show spin-off. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, the Queen Charlotte.
What a wow.
That was a really interesting experience. That was really it was really bizarre at times, very triggering at other times, and just quite nonsensical the rest of it.
I struggled to make sense of it. And then I went on Twitter to see if I could make sense of it, and then I just couldn't even make sense of it.
What was Twitter's consensus?
Twitter was like, this is one of the most beautiful love stories.
I'm dead.
That's my algorithm. That's my personal algorithm. So I don't know what your personal algorithm will say.
I didn't check. But honestly, Queen Charlotte was just like, I just feel like there was so much to be done, and this is what they did. I'm just so confused.
My thing was...
No, both of us and I had to
No, it took the hair off our head.
Girl, it was truly something.
I was saying to Danny, like, how is it, God, God, in our imagination that you have given us God, and you say it again, we are also again suffering as black women. Like, okay, I don't even know how many accents I did there, but like, even in our imagination, how are we?
Not ours, theirs.
Theirs. How are we still struggling? How are the only two black people in this show given?
They're not the only two black people.
But the main.
Two of the main characters, two of the main black women characters.
And then to add insult, to add further insult, you bring in Lady Bridgerton, and she's like, I had a good love, this. Yeah.
I'm struggling too.
Go away.
Lady Bridget, what was her name? Violet? Is her name Violet?
Violent.
That part. That part. Lady Violet Bridgerton.
Respectfully, get out the room.
Get out. Literally stand up, pack your bag, and get out of this room right now.
Nobody invited you to the cookout. Go home. Go back to your mansion.
This one isn't for you, darling.
Like,
why was she in the show? Irrelevant.
Okay, so let's start with Queen Charlotte. Let's start from the beginning. Yeah, so there's Queen Charlotte. So she comes in from this faraway land.
This faraway, fantastical land where...
Guys, disclaimer, by the way. If you keep hearing interludes and silences, it's because we're just so shook. It's just disbelief. And there's just so many thoughts that there's not enough lips on our mouth. There's not enough lips on our faces to convey all the different things and emotions and experiences.
It literally feels like, I can't fathom everything to say it. Because it honestly was just so nonsensical. For me, where it all began was, why did they decide to make Bridgerton have like realistic things and dynamics and like bring the layers of race into the show? The whole point was that it was this like utopia world where everyone just bloody exists. But they decided, no, we're going to bring in, and then they called it the experiment.
The great experiment. Let me tell you. I was trying to figure out, what is this great experiment that you're doing? Because if you did biology and did all these different things, experiments are like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
It's very dehumanizing.
It is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, experiment. Okay, so is there something wrong with Charlotte? Because more time, we've got the Mad King. Like, this.
The whole thing didn't make any sense.
No.
It was so jarring because, like, in the same, like, how are you saying that the integration of black, and also, the integration of black or non-white people into the British monarchy, right, is this great experiment that we're going to see if it works or not, right? But they don't actually talk about it. They just say it's an experiment, right?
We're talking about experiments. So what is the end result? Because the thing is, with the idea of the whole experiment, Lady Danbury is more of an example of the experiment, giving them land, giving them this. So what's happening if you give them all these titles?
And the fact that they then were like, oh, we're going to put race into it. We're going to call it the Great Experiment. And what we're going to do is we're going to just say that everything was resolved because Queen Charlotte married the king and it didn't fail, quote unquote fail. Therefore, racism was vanished from the flipping ether. It vanished from all of existence. And by the time they have children in their lifetime, everyone is nice and cohesive and everyone's merry and black people everywhere and Asian people are included and everyone is fine and dandy. So this all happened within a couple of years. What's the point? That's such a slap in the face.
Because, like, spoiler alert,
racism still happens.
Like, slavery.
And Meghan joined the British monarchy and racism happened to her.
Slavery was only 159 years ago. Only. What's our life expectancy? Like what? 70 odd? Please tell me. So you're talking about race. So nobody in this whole society knows that the king's mad. No one. You're telling me a whole person who owns a whole degree that this king who has loads of servants, all these, not a single person knows that they're sick. And then they bring in this person.
And why did they prolong this quote unquote new, like, very like eccentric experiment of the king? They literally tortured him the whole season. Why did they do that? Why would they show us that? Why would they make us endure the screams? Like, that isn't what Bridgerton's about. So why? I feel like they tried to make Queen Charlotte some sort of like commentary on society, but it's so shallow, and you might as well have just not done it, because it's just.
Why did you not do it in the first one? Why did you not do it in
but
the second one?
Don't do it, because the point is, you've decided this world is free of everything. So keep it that way.
Honestly, like, I am so tired of the storyline of black women struggling. And we're talking about this again, how I respect Shonda's work. I respect her art, and like, sis, you're doing bits. I respect it. However, black women struggling, please, we are experiencing it. I don't want to sit and be paying I don't pay a subscription. But if I was to pay a subscription, I don't want to be seeing black women struggle on TV as well.
Like, why is it that all the black women that I remember on the show, Queen Charlotte, she doesn't really even have her partner. Most of the time, they aren't even together, because he's having an episode, and so she's alone, completely alone.
But the thing is, they didn't even give us episodes of what their life was like. They literally just skipped to the end. So what happened? Did he get worse? And like.
Lady Danbury was apparently groomed from birth to marry this heinous older black man, right? She then marries him. She experiences awful sex. The way that they portray their sex is awful.
Violent. That's horrible.
And then after he dies, she's like, actually, I'm not going to be with anybody. And actually, the great love that they speak of her having is with a white man who chooses his white family. Because, of course,
Violet's dad as well, but they're all friends.
She decides, actually, I don't actually want to be with anybody, right? Which is a fine existence. You can have that. But why is it black women? Why does it have to be the black woman? The other like mixed race character I can think of, who was she was mixed race, she was like half black, I believe. She was in the first season of the actual Bridgerton story, and she ended up marrying some man that was unstimulating to her brain. She was basically outed as some sort of woman trying to like throw the wool over like this innocent white man's eyes. I just feel like
so much.
I just feel like it is the realities of these relationships are fine and valid, and like they can exist and they should exist in the show if they want to. But why is it that the struggle loves have to be with the black women?
And also the thing is, they don't the romantic life, the romantic love doesn't work out. The relationship between the Queen and Lady Danbury was so surface level. Their friendship, do you know what I mean? They literally although like obviously they show that Lady Danbury is very much loyal to the Queen. However, their friendship is just a surface. And they're connecting because they're two black people in a society where they need to struggle together and get through it, but no actual depth to it.
That tracks with with the rest of the show. All of it. They try to talk about all these big and great things about like life and whatever, but all of it is very surface level because they don't have any actual commitment to talk about them. They just want it to be perceived, or it's as if the show wanted to be perceived as this like really thoughtful piece, and it's like, that's not what we're here for. Like, this is literally Bridgerton. Like, chill out and just show us some love.
Honestly, I just feel like the black women were done so dirty, and
the ending of the show, when like all of the things were out in the open, Queen Charlotte and King, is it George? Yeah, I think it's King George, isn't it? And King George, like, everyone knew what was happening. Charlotte knew that Queen George was suffering with a mental illness, and they were dealing with it. From that point was where the show should have started. It should have been about their relationship, their love.
Yeah. Yep.
But they decided not to do that. They told us all of the other stuff that didn't make any difference. And then they also had like a gay couple. And it's like, that story is so interesting. But it was like a side quest that was barely even touched upon. And I was just like, okay, well, that was, why then?
It goes back to that point that you made at the start of the episode when you were like, when we started, when you were like, they create plots rather than actual having like fully fledged like characters.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know, I've just remembered a show that we watched that we enjoyed. The Night Agent.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, that was probably the last one actually.
And that was what, months ago? Like,
that was at least a month or two ago.
And do you know, you just think there's so much simplicity. Like, it's actually such a simple thing to do, but people, they try and tackle on so many different things at once that it's like you just fail. And I don't know, because there's people on TikTok who are like, yeah, Shonda was going for the whole feminist trope, and I'm like, so women must struggle again. In fact, like,
I just feel like
I see it, but you could also have done this feminist trope a whole lot different.
You could just do it with a bit more nuance, I think, is the issue. And it didn't feel like that was the commitment.
I can't wait till you start writing so you can, you know,
do the things that I'm saying.
Like, genuinely. I really struggled to understand George's character.
There was no character, that's the issue.
I struggled to see which parts of him that Charlotte actually fell in love with and connected to. The only time that I actually saw that was at the beginning when she was about to climb the fence, and then that scene when they were under the bed. Those are for me, to be fair, that I constantly watch comedies. So if I'm watching a drama, I need it simple, and I can't be doing all this mental gymnastics.
They were apart half the show, most of the show actually. Anyway.
And it's just so unfair that like her whole storyline is her trying to get a grandchild. That's not that. Okay, I get it's about their love and like you continuing this great experiment and mission. But did she ever find out about the great experiment? Do you know what I mean?
I just feel like it fell short. It fell short. And I think it feels like, to round this up, it feels like a lot of the shows right now and the films are just falling short. And it's a shame. It's a really, really big shame, I think. But
anyway,
there's definitely some gems in there, and if you guys have any like fabulous shows that you thought were like really good, please let us know, because we're trying to find something to watch.
yes.
Please let us know.
Anyway.
And I think that will round up our. Would you like to add anything?
No, I wouldn't. Okay. Thank you.
I think that will round up our segment of the pod huddle. And we'll promptly get into
the lazy person's guide to saving the world by looking after ourselves. Well, the lazy person's guide to saving the world.
Still workshopping it,
girl. Remixing every day. What's yours?
I've been rewatching like a childhood show recently, and it's just been bringing me a lot of joy. And like I just watch it when I'm like on the bus or whatever, and like it's nice. It brings nice, warm, settled feeling in my chest, and I feel like you could also achieve that. And I think maybe revisit a childhood show or an old movie or a book or a series or like a music video, something that you used to enjoy, that used to bring you happiness and joy. Revisit that and experience that goodness. That's my action point for this week. What about you?
For me, I would say buy yourself some flowers, because it's the season of summer and light, and there's so many different beautiful flowers out. So treat yourself.
They're all blooming.
We're all blooming and we're all healing. Just buy yourself even if it's one single stem, just to remind yourself that you're on this journey, you're experiencing these things, and you're doing really well. You're doing a lot better than you think. So, yeah. If it's not flowers, choose something else.
Yeah. Maybe it's
chocolate.
I guess I was gonna say food. Maybe it's a cheeky Chinese.
Oof! Don't.
No, stop.
Don't.
I've literally put it in my head.
Don't.
I've literally.
They're closing on a Sunday anyway. I know.
Yeah.
We have this conversation all the time.
I just feel like Sunday is such a terrible day to be closed for takeaway.
Honestly, we need to actually just sit down with them.
They need to just be closed on Mondays. 'Cause
I was thinking that.
I feel like Mondays are like everyone's like beginning of the week. I'm gonna be good, so no one needs a takeaway on Monday.
Nobody needs a takeaway.
But a Sunday night. Come on.
Sunday night takeaway. Sunday night Chinese. Anywho, Danny, thank you so much for such a beautiful conversation.
Thank you for your thoughts, Freddie.
And
as always.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
As it always is.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for the love, the support. We really appreciate it.
We really do.
And yeah.
And yeah, please let us know. Literally, actually let us know your shows and whatever you're watching. Give us your thoughts, because like legit, I love talking about these types of things. Like I be watching breakdown videos of shows and episodes. Like I love these types of conversations.
And do you know what we could do as well? Then make a highlight on our Instagram of shows recommendations that people send in.
Fabulous. Our socials in which you can do this is on Instagram and Twitter is at the offdutypod, and our email is offdutypodsubmissions@gmail.com. I don't know why I did a bit of a start there.
I'm so dead.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
We shall catch you on the flip side. Have a great 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.